thought I'd make a video here whilst walking along this Promenade d'Anglais in Nice. And the reason I wanted to make a video, because I haven't done one for a while, sort of out and about walking, talking about OCD. There's a lot of people here, so it'll be difficult to walk and around these people and talk about OCD because it's absolutely packed. But the reason I wanted to come on here and talk about OCD and how this relates to where I'm walking right now is this, and this is a key point. In the past with OCD, I used to think that what would happen is if by having this disorder, that sort of gave me a free pass against any other illnesses, any other disorders. So like I thought like, well, because I have OCD, that means I can't have anything else, that like nothing else in life you'll get. I used to think that sort of in my early 20s. It was a ridiculous idea because in reality you can have cancer and OCD. I've worked with so many people with cancer and OCD. But also why I wanted to make this video here specifically is because on this promenade a few years back there was a terrorist attack where people got run down by a truck and a lot of people lost their lives incredibly sadly. And what happened is today when I was walking along here, I got reminded of this by the driver who took me here, and he said to me, you know, he'd lost a friend in this terrible attack. And I remember it vividly, the attack at the time in the news. And it's such a happy, friendly place walking down the street here that people, you know, enjoying their lives. You wouldn't think that situation is even in your mind. It feels so away from the amazing place that you are, because I mean, look here, so beautiful and picturesque. Don't know if that does it justice, but yeah. And what I was thinking was, when I used to be stuck with OCD, I used to think, yeah, nothing else would happen apart from that, from having bad OCD. So I thought like I'd got this kind of free pass against everything else. And then one day I was in this forum, this OCD forum, and I saw a young guy in there who'd been like working to recover for a long time. And then he put a post in there saying he was just like, his life was just starting to improve, and he had his exams for like 2 years whilst he was in that forum. This many years ago. And he was like, I can't wait till my exams to be over, then I can start living my life. And then he was like, oh, I can't wait for OCD to be over so I can start living my life. And then what happened, he then put a post, an update in there saying he'd been diagnosed with late stage cancer, and in the end he got terminal cancer and died. And I thought, oh my God, that's so sad. Like, because he'd put posts that were quite philosophical in there as well, saying things like, you know, all our life we're working, we never get to live and be free and all that kind of stuff. He was saying that in the group, and then that happened. And I thought at the time, like, that's such a great example of how life can just suddenly take a shift like that and be such a tragedy. And you know, that's the same with OCD. You've got to think this, like, you know, when you're working to recover from OCD, doesn't mean we're gifted tomorrow. Doesn't mean just because we're recovered, life's easy. Anything can happen. Like what I was just saying about that with that terrible, with the terrible attack. And so you got to remember those things and think you haven't got forever. You haven't got forever to recover from OCD. You know, so you want to make it a priority, but you also want to live your life at the same time and go about doing everything and not waiting for that all to be, everything to all be how you want it to look and how you want your life to be. You've got to go and grab that life now and still live it with the guilt and anxiety and everything coming for the ride, because it definitely is going to come for the ride, right? Because if you just sit in a room waiting for it, what are you getting in exchange? You're feeling shit and being in the room. So that's not good. So you're much better being out and going along and teaching the brain to live life at the same time as working on recovery. So much better. You know, like now when I walk along here, I'm completely free from anxiety, guilt. There's nothing latched. I don't even think about those things. It like, doesn't even come into my mind. Yes, I work with OCD all the time, but it doesn't come into my mind in relation to me because there's no suffering. But like, I would much rather, and I used to avoid holidays at all costs when I had bad OCD. I used to try and avoid it. I'd go on some a lot still with my family when they absolutely forced me, but the ones where I had to book them, they weren't happening. So you've got to think that. You've got to go out and do that and live your life and realise you're not gifted to tomorrow. Like, we all think just because we've had every other day before and we're still here, that those days are just going to be more like that. But they're not. They're not guaranteed like that at all. And anything could happen. I could get run over just now filming this Instagram video. I mean, any of that can happen, but you just think it won't. So it is stating the obvious, but it's so bloody important to think of it, because it's so easy to get into a cycle of just thinking to yourself like, oh, I'm completely safe now, I've recovered, that was the only thing that I need to do. Because I've just got this habit of making you think like it's the only important thing in the world. Like, once you get over that theme or work that thing out, then life will be fine and you'll never have any problems again, which is complete crap, because it morphs and you will have problems. Like, it's not like you live a problem-free life when you're on the other side of OCD. It's just how it latches, it makes it feel like that. So the message from today is go out and live your life, live how you want to. Don't be too rigid and like, oh my God, like people are becoming so rigid these days with fitness and health and trying to live forever and not enjoying anything. You've got to go and enjoy life as well. Be fit, be healthy, but at the same time, you've got to do those things, because it's not a trial run. This is your one life, and you've got to do that, and you've got to go for it. And it sounds cliche, but people talk about it, but actually doing it's another thing, because they get into the habit of going through the daily sort of motions of chores and tasks, and then they actually forget. Ain't gifted tomorrow, so you've got to really seize it.